So today too, as you can see, we are having some special people that are coming, and we're just going to dive into a conversation. And I just want to get to know more about their background, about how they got where they are or where they are at the moment, because I feel like everyone has a story to tell, and your story can actually help motivate someone else. So basically, that is what we're going to do today again. All right. We're going to do a quick round, basically in a minute, or we just want to know your name and what you do. Whether you're a student, maybe you own a company, or what your position may be, but just in a nutshell, something about you, starting from Pastor Godfrey. I know we know you, and we know that you're in love, but you know.
Hi everyone, my name is Godfrey. I'm a student aan de Hogeschool van Amsterdam, laatste jaar commerciële economie. I also work at a sneaker company as digital marketeer. And yeah, that's a little bit about
give it
me.
up.
I'm 24 as well.
Thank you.
Ik ga het in het Nederlands doen. Goedenavond iedereen.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, je voel je vrij, hè? In welke taal dan ook?
Ik ben Nation, ik ben 23.
I'm 23 years old.
Afgestudeerd dit jaar toegepaste wiskunde aan
Graduated in, hoe noem je dat?
Mathematical Engineering in Engels.
Mathematical engineering. That's a whole mouthful. Oh, can we learn to celebrate our own? Yeah.
En ik ben op dit moment werkzaam als levens- en businessmedewerker binnen een... Het is eigenlijk lastig, het komt erop neer. Ik heb gekozen om een traineeship te doen.
Oh, sorry. I've chosen to do an internship or traineeship.
Traineeship. En een traineeship houdt eigenlijk in dat je werkzaam bent vol tijd, dus 40 uur in de week, maar tegelijkertijd ook naar school gaat.
It means you're full-time employed, but at the same time you're still going to school.
De reden dat ik dit heb gedaan is omdat ik weet dat ik veel meer uit mezelf wil en kan halen.
The reason why I've chosen for this is because I know that I can, and there's much more that is in me.
En het veld waar ik op dit moment mijn traineeship volg is binnen het actuariaat, dus binnen de verzekeringswereld.
And now I'm in the field of insurance.
Dus ja, dat doe ik.
So that is basically what I do.
Dat is wat ik doe.
Thank you.
Goedenavond iedereen, ik ben Sarai.
Goedenavond.
Ik ben 20.
I'm 20 years.
Ik studeer pedagogiek ook op de Hogeschool van Amsterdam. in
I
het tweede
do,
jaar.
what is that in Engels? Whatever, pedagogie. Flow.
En ik ben begeleider bij het leger des Heils.
And I work at the Salvation Army.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda. I'm 22 years old. I study guest experience management. I'm in my second year, and I also do content creation, social media management, and yeah.
Wow. Come on.
Ik ben Vanessa Paal
I'm
van
Vanessa
Stadsdeel Zuidoost. Werk in Amsterdam Zuidoost.
from the
Geboren en
municipality.
getogen Zuidoostenaar.
I'm from Southeast.
Ik zit op een prioriteit. Hoe kan ik jullie dit uitleggen? Ik ben bezig met een speciale opdracht, of ik het even zo mag
I'm
noemen.
busy with a certain project
Ja, om jongeren maatschappelijk bewust te maken.
to make the youth socially or aware.
Ja.
Yeah.
En in zijn breedste zin. En op dit moment houd ik me bezig met de politiek.
And at this moment, I'm busy in the field of politics.
Ja, en het is heel erg, het is interessant.
It's
Maar ik ga jullie
interesting.
niet te veel erover vertellen. Het is een lang verhaal.
I'm gonna spare you.
Ik werk om en nabij volgens mij 12, 13 jaar voor Stadsdeel Zuidoost.
And I've been working roughly 12, 13 years for the
En
municipality.
waarom ik hier zit is omdat ik me voornamelijk bezig hou met jongeren.
And the reason why I'm seated here is because I deal with young ones, youth.
Ja.
Oh, can we give it up for our special guest?
Goedenavond, ik ben Claudia, ik ben 26 jaar. Ik werk als grondstewardess bij KLM en ik doe een thuisstudie die on hold staat. En de thuisstudie die ik doe is binnenhuisarchitectuur.
All right. So I'm a stewardess, and I'm following a course at home which has to do with architect, right? Oh wow, okay. Het is heel wat anders.
Good Good evening. I am Emmanuel Waterbeck, working with Nissan for about 23 years now. And currently, I've fulfilled many different functions. I'm currently doing total delivery cost control. So basically, the supply chain network, I am trying to bring improvement and challenge them to do a bit better than they are doing at the moment.
Wow. He's a big man at Nissan, yeah. All right, so basically we're going to dive into it. One of the questions that I love to ask, like almost every week, is usually we ask about business. How do you define business for yourself? In this case, because we're more going to the educational side, just to break the ice, how would you define education in your own way? And why do you think it's important? Because just to give a background to that question is because many in our generation feel like you don't need education anymore. Toch? Don't lie. No, many. I didn't say you. I didn't say you, but many people, because they see people have success without following an education. But in your opinion, why do you think? How would you define education, and why do you think it's important?
What is education actually, and why is education important? Education, you can break it down. We have what they call the formal education, and we have what they call the informal education. In these modern days, the informal education is becoming even more and more important. The informal education includes, you don't necessarily need to be in a school, but you can actually be in a company or under somebody, and then he's also going to teach you, or most of the time what you do, you call it at home study. You can also do that. Why is education important? Education gives you one, discipline. Education brings structure into your life, and education brings what? Self-control, self-awareness. You can be very, very talented, but if you don't have discipline, if you don't have self-structured, your talent, you will not be able to succeed. The reason why many people have good intentions, they have good business plan, they start their own business, but they do not succeed, is simply lack of what? Discipline. And that discipline, you will get it via an education. You can't go to the online and buy discipline. So for me, education is crucial. Somebody will say, yeah, but we have seen many people who have been successful without education. Yes, we have seen many. And then last time somebody even gave me an example, Bill Gates, and calling them all up, but you are not Bill Gates. Before you get there, you have to start from somewhere. So education is very, very important. And one last thing, and then I'll pass it on. Most of us, we go through a stage whereby you think, well, I'm not really sure if I should go into this direction or that direction. While you are in between, in your doubt, put yourself into education. Don't waste your time. Don't sit at home and say, well, I'm waiting to know what I want to do. While you are waiting, please educate. Education is power. Education is power. The difference between most of us, our superiors, and us is simply the knowledge they know we don't know. That is all.
Thank you. Wow. I think I had a follow-up question that he immediately answered as well. But then maybe a question, maybe let me direct a question at Vanessa. As being someone that works for the municipalities, is this something that you guys, from your professional point of view, have seen that there has been a shift of a generation that, like school dropouts? And what is maybe not you specifically, or what is the municipality, or have they tried to do about it in order to solve it? Dus, moet ik het weer herhalen? Ja? Oké.
Byron stelt vandaag alleen maar ingewikkelde vragen. Als ik kijk naar, vanuit mijn expertise, ik ben
Looking from my expertise,
ja, vanuit de stad als projectleider.
As a project leader,
zijn we nu dus bezig met bepaalde prioriteiten, bewustwording. En dat houdt in dat wij merken dat we jongeren meer willen gaan inzetten. Er
We're-
zijn heel veel jonge entrepreneurs in Amsterdam Zuidoost.
We're busy actually creating awareness among young ones, and what we have seen is the municipality is trying to involve the youth much more, and we are seeing a huge growth in entrepreneurship
Ja.
amongst this
En
generation.
Inzetten in de breedste zin, wat ik eerder ook al zei, we zijn op het moment bezig met het onderwerp stemmen.
And
22 november zijn de verkiezingen.
at this moment, we are specifically busy with the subject voting, because soon there will be elections.
En daarin merken we ook dat vele van de jongeren ook zoiets hebben van, maar waarom zou ik überhaupt stemmen? Wat wordt er voor mij gedaan? Wat doet de overheid voor mij?
Exactly.
Er is sprake van geen vertrouwen in de overheid.
Right.
Er is sprake van, wat haal ik eruit?
And what I've noticed is that many young ones in our generation, they feel like, why would I vote? Can I even trust the municipality? What have they done for me so far?
Dus waar we ons nu op focussen is inderdaad in gesprek gaan met jongeren. Kijken wat kunnen wij dan vanuit het stadsdeel in beweging krijgen.
Right. So we want to engage, get into conversations with young ones, so that we can see from the municipality side what we can do to
En
basically
dan wel
help.
niet vanuit de behoeften vanuit het stadsdeel, maar de behoeften vanuit de jongeren.
And not from the demand of the municipalities, but clearly from the demand of the young ones.
Dus terugkomend op, als je kijkt naar, volgens mij was de vraag, drop-out in stadsdeel Zuidoost. Ja, er is een bepaalde percentage die ik nu op het moment niet
So I
precies
don't know about
heb.
the percentage of dropouts.
Maar het is ook onder andere iets waar wij als stadsdeel ook aan werken en willen in ondersteunen. Bijvoorbeeld dat je hebt dus huiswerkbegeleiding voor jongeren op de basisschool of althans kinderen op de basisschool.
But then we
Je
have
hebt,
tutors. There are some ways that we're looking at this situation and trying to be of a help as well, by giving them guidance and coaching.
Ja, en mijn doel vandaag is om te kijken of ik iets voor de jongeren die vandaag hier zijn, wat kan betekenen. Ik bedoel, ik zit niet zomaar op het project. En onder andere om ook meer gebruik te maken van de expertise. Want ik denk er is niets mooier dan gebruik te maken van de nieuwe manier van content. Dan wat wij al hebben in het stadsdeel. Een beetje oudbollig.
So basically my mission here today is to see what I can do, or how I would be able to help the community, especially the young ones.
Ja. En misschien al een beetje een oproep. Ik heb 16 november hebben we een bijeenkomst met religieuze gemeenschappen.
Yep. So on the 16th of
Ja, werd ook
November,
uitgenodigd.
there are there's a gathering of religious groups that are coming together.
Ja. En ik ben op zoek naar een jonge entrepreneur die content voor mij kan maken.
Je mag het luider zeggen.
Ja.
Okay, she's looking for a young entrepreneur or a content creator, right?
Ja, met KVK,
With a Chamber of Commerce number,
als dat er is.
if that is there. En anders kan je het gewoon op de mijne gooien. Nee, grapje.
Ja.
Okay, no, thank you. Can we give it up for Vanessa? Okay, let me ask. Ja, nu je toch de mic hebt. Did you finish? I think I have multiple questions in one. Point number one: did you finish your education before you became? Did you actually study to be a stewardess? And was it always your initial choice? And how did you get to the point that you decided to do an additional course? Ga je het onthouden?
Ja, zeker.
All right.
Nee, tenminste, ik heb eerst MBO 4 gedaan, deed ik management
So
assistant.
I did management assistant,
Daarna ben ik naar HBO gegaan, deed ik tourist management.
and then I went to higher education or HBO, and then I did tourism
Management, ja.
tourism management.
Ik vond de opleiding zelf niet leuk, dus ik ben na 5 maanden gestopt.
I didn't like the course, so I stopped after 5 months.
Dus ik wilde een tussenjaar nemen en toen ben ik gaan werken als uitzendkracht voor KLM.
Oh, so then I basically took a break, and then I started working as an uitzendkracht. Help me. I started working for KLM.
Vervolgens kreeg ik een contract aangeboden na 2 maanden werken als uitzendkracht.
And then after 2 months, I basically KLM employed me.
Dus toen dacht ik, oké, het is eigenlijk wel een leuk bedrijf en ik vind het werk zelf ook leuk. Dus ik bleef. Maar KLM biedt ook opties om opleidingen te vergoeden.
I thought it was cool initially, so nice company, so I decided to stay. And at the same time, KLM also offers other courses, or they compensate courses.
En ik wilde altijd al binnenhuis architectuur worden en dat stond ertussen, dus ik heb daarvoor gekozen.
And I've always actually had the ambition to be an architect, and that was actually among of the lists that I could choose, so I chose that.
Dus toen ben ik begonnen met mijn thuisstudie, maar wat Pastor net zojuist heeft gezegd, je hebt daar echt discipline en structuur voor nodig en die had ik op dat moment niet.
So I started off with some home studies, and just as Pastor Waterberg was saying, that it requires a lot of discipline and dedication, but at the moment I didn't have that.
En heel grappig, mijn broertje gaat niet naar de kerk, maar hij was degene die tegen mij zei van, Claudia, waarom zou je stoppen met je thuisstudie? Want toen je begon met je thuisstudie deed je het zonder Christus. En nu je in Christus bent, moet je het opnieuw doen met Christus.
And my brother, he doesn't go to church, but he was the one that actually told me that, hey, before you actually gave your life to Christ, you started off with this study. So why now you're in Christ, you do not further or continue to study? So he motivated me.
Ja, dus in plaats van stoppen heb ik mijn opleiding on hold gezet. Maar ik ga het binnenkort oppakken met Gods wil.
Thank you. So instead of actually quitting, I've actually put it on hold. Can we give it up for Deaconess Claudia? Thank you for your transparency. And that brings me actually to another question, which I would misschien kan Sarah of een van jullie, anyone, maybe we can have multiple answers. One thing that I think every student will encounter in his school career is demotivation. Right? Right? Okay, done. Ik weet dat jij je gaat lekker. You're doing well. How did you deal with the demotivation or the setbacks throughout your school career?
Er zijn inderdaad tijden geweest dat ik geen motivatie had.
So when I wouldn't have any motivation.
Maar ik zeg je eerlijk, ik ben wel iemand die vaak heeft uitgesteld. Alleen uiteindelijk weet ik waar het me gaat brengen als ik blijf uitstellen.
I'm a person that procrastinates, but at the long run I know where... Nog een keer, wat zei je laatst?
Ja, als ik blijf uitstellen, wat de consequenties
I know that if I keep on procrastinating, what the results will be.
Ja, en wat echt helpt, is dat ik echt een doel voor ogen heb wat ik echt wil worden.
And one thing that helped is having a goal in mind about something that you really want to become.
Ja, dus als ik geen motivatie heb, dan push ik mezelf gewoon van... Ja, als je dit niet gaat doen, dan ga je het niet halen. Dus...
So basically, I try to push myself anytime I'm demotivated. That if I do not push myself, or what I tell myself is, if I won't push myself, I'm not going to make it.
Ja, en ja, ook gewoon echt nadenken van alles wat je doet, moet je doen ter glorie van God. Dus...
And especially thinking about anything that you do, you need to do it to the glory of God.
Ja, en op die manier neem ik het dan echt serieus, dus dat helpt me wel.
And that has been a way for me to help me deal with my demotivation. Thank you.
Ja.
Feel free. I think maybe we can do a quick one. How do you do?
Ik zou mijn scriptie als mijn getuigenis gebruiken.
I'll use my scriptie, mijn thesis as a testimony.
Ik heb mijn scriptie, normaliter moet je het doen in 6 maanden.
Normally you need to do your thesis in 6 months.
Ik heb er...
I'm counting.
Volgens mij een jaar over gedaan, zoiets ruim een jaar.
I think approximately a year. It took me a year to do it.
Dus dat heeft ook ervoor gezorgd dat ik studievertraging op heb gelopen.
So through that I had delay in my study.
Hoorde 4 jaar te doen, uiteindelijk 5 jaar gedaan.
Something that was supposed to take 4 years, eventually took me 5 years.
En de reden waarom is omdat uiteindelijk ik merkte van mijn studie bracht me in, het duwde me echt in een bepaalde hoek, zeg maar.
So my studies basically pushed me in a specific corner.
Want daar lagen de grootste mogelijkheden.
Because there were obviously the biggest chances.
En ik wilde dat niet.
En nog een keer?
Ik wilde dat niet.
And I didn't want to.
It's like the treasure is there, but because your heart is not attached to it, you don't want to do it. So Whenever I was doing my internship, I had two choices. I either had to make it harder for myself and do what I had to do or do what I wanted to do, or I just had to swallow that huge pill and do what I actually disliked doing. And that was something that formed me. It also involved prayers and actually involving God to push me through that what I did not want to do. And that's the reason why it took so long. That's the reason why it was so hard for me at that time. But I learned a lot from it. Ik wil jullie de details besparen. Maar het komt erop neer dat er gewoon heel veel ruis was onderweg.
So basically, I went through a lot in this journey.
Dan was mijn scriptie niet goed geschreven. Dan was het te gedetailleerd beschreven.
So then it was too much, it was too precise.
Dan slaag je niet, bijvoorbeeld.
And then you do not pass.
Te veel was.
Because
dus hoe ga je daarmee om?
Because the thesis was too much. So how do you cope with that?
Ja, op een gegeven moment... Sowieso gaf ik niet op. Want mijn begeleider zei me ook van... Yo, Nation, wat ga je ermee doen?
So I decided not to give up. And my coach or supervisor was basically asking me what am I going to do about it.
And he told me that you should take heart or hold. How do you say it? He said to me that you should take heart and remain faithful, remain courage, full of courage, that you will eventually pass through. And at the end, I did. But what did I do to actually get there? Actually, what helped me are the people around you. The people around you that sustain you, that support you. My parents, for instance, my siblings, they would see me writing, typing all nights through, finishing subjects that I had to go through, and also making sacrifices. It is a huge pill to swallow at that time because you have to give up a lot of things. The things that you love to do, you actually have to give up to do what you have to do. And that is something that we as Christians or we as youths come to realize and come to face. What am I gaining for what am I against that what I'm about to sacrifice? And that actually helped me to gain perspective of the goal that I wanted to achieve. And now that I'm looking back to it, it was worth it because I'm now at a place where I'm clear-minded, moving forward. This thing has now been a testimony to help others see through that whatever you want, you have to make choices. Because each and every choice you make has consequences. Each and everything that you do, that you desire, it takes something. It takes something out of you that you must do. And that is what helped me to gain the conscious and the understanding that whatever that I need to do, it has to, there's something against it. There's a cost behind it. And by making that choice, by doing that what I had to do, by having the people around you that actually support you to make the right choices at the right time and to let go of the things that don't allow you to get to that point, yeah, is the reason why I'm where I am today. And also God, involving God by making those choices in the process.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. I think he said a lot, but there are two things that stood out for me. One of the things was that he said your surroundings. And many times the stress or the demotivation we go through is most often a result of not having the right surroundings. Because it sometimes looks, some of us, we find it ourselves in spheres that we are the only ones studying. But if all your friends are not studying, are doing other stuff, you are most likely to get to a point that you get discouraged. Because one thing that I keep on saying is if you are at a place long enough, you become it. And if you have a goal, but your surrounding is not conducive for that goal, you will become discouraged. So point number one, make sure that your surroundings, I believe many motivational speakers use this phrase that make sure that in your circle you have people that are doing better than you in the field that you want to, be in. Because they will keep you sharp, they will keep you vigilant, they will keep you going. And another thing that he said was sacrifice. I believe many people some know that what they want to become. They're like, okay, I want to be this, and that. But I feel like we don't understand what we need to give back in return. What you need to give up in return. Like someone might be very ambitious to become a medical doctor. Someone has an ambition to become a pilot. Someone wants to be whatever you want to be. There is a sacrifice against it. There is something that you will have to give up in order to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Because you need to grind way harder or much more than the people even around you or the people. Because the thing is, if you do not put the effort or the hard work into it, don't expect it to come by itself. So sacrifice is a big, big key. And because people do not understand the weight of what they need to actually give in return, they get to a point that they get discouraged. Because now all of a sudden ben jij thuis aan het leren terwijl dat je matties buiten zijn aan het feesten. But you need to sacrifice that. So because I think it needs to be said that school is niet altijd leuk. Toch? Toch? Je mag het zeggen. Er zijn weinig ouders hier. Je kan het gewoon zeggen. It's not always fun. But watch this. It is not even meant to be fun. You can make it fun, but it's not meant to be fun because it is simply a stepping stone for the greater goal that you have. And many people do not view it in such a way. So thank you very much for sharing what you just shared.
Yes.
En voel je vrij om in te springen of om vragen te stellen. Hè? Like, I just want it to be interactive.
All right, talking about demotivation, I think most of us have already spoken a lot concerning that. For me to even speak about my story, waar zal ik beginnen? Ik zal het Nederlands doen hoor. Ik ben begonnen, ik ben hier geboren.
I'm born here.
Uiteindelijk was ik naar Engeland verhuisd.
And then eventually I migrated to UK.
Waarom ik dit erbij zet, gaan jullie zo meteen erachter komen.
The reason why I'm saying this is I'll get back to that.
Ik was in Engeland, ging gewoon naar school, had gewoon mijn educatie gevolgd. Tot op een bepaalde extent.
So I schooled in the UK.
En het schoolsysteem in Engeland is anders dan in Nederland.
And the system in UK is way different than the school system here in the Netherlands.
Ik kwam terug in Nederland in groep 7.
So I came back in groep 7.
Maar daar moest een keuze worden gemaakt. Want eigenlijk moest ik naar groep 8.
Because actually I was supposed to go to group 8.
Maar in groep 7 heb je entree-toets, toch?
But in group 7 you have this what we call
entree-toets. Iedereen heeft
entree-toets.
entree-toets gemaakt hier, toch?
Ja, klopt man.
En dan heb je CITO-toets.
And then you have CITO-toets.
Dus ik moest mijn entree-toets maken. En advies was VMBO-T.
So then my advice was VMBO-T.
Maar realiseer dat ik, toen ik in Engeland was ik een beetje mijn Nederlands vergeten.
But mind you that when I was in the UK, I forgot.
Grammaticaal, woordenschat, spelling.
So
dat was allemaal.
So my grammar was
het helemaal. It went down. Let me say that. Dus ik kwam terug en ik had de VMBO-T.
So I came back, had VMBO-T.
En ik kon gewoon eigenlijk tevreden zijn met dat advies.
And I could basically settle for that advice.
Want het is gewoon een normaal advies. Het is niet verkeerd. Het is eigenlijk in het midden.
Because it's basically a normal neutral advice.
Ik ging naar groep 8. Moest ik CITO-toets maken.
So then I went to groep 8 and then
uiteindelijk
I did the
maakte ik mijn CITO-toets. Haal ik het hoogste van de klas.
And I end up having the highest score of the whole class.
Ja, 43 of 45.
Opschepper.
Ik ben geen opschepper, dat is zo niet. Maar ik had de VWO en ik realiseerde me toen dat mijn docent zei van... Hey, weet je, eigenlijk wou ik je in de T-klas laten instromen in het eerste jaar.
So then my teacher was actually saying that I wanted you to start off in the first year of VMBO-T.
En uiteindelijk ging ik eerste jaar HAVO-VWO-klas. Dus een mengelmoes van HAVO en VWO.
But then I went to a combination of HAVO and VWO.
Maar zei wel van, let op, ik denk niet dat je het echt gaat redden.
But die komt bekend voor. He said, but mind you, I don't think you will make it, but we're just going to give you a chance.
Eerste 2 jaar, fast forward, haal ik zulke goede cijfers dat ik in de VWO-klas mag instromen.
So in the first 2 years I had such good marks that I eventually did A-levels.
Maar op dat moment was het nog steeds in mijn hoofd van, ik ben niet goed genoeg.
At that moment I felt like I wasn't good enough.
Dus ik kwam met mijn grote vriend hier in de klas.
Oh wow.
Ja.
So I was in the same class as my nephew.
En uiteindelijk had ik 1 jaar had ik het niet gehaald. Ging ik terug naar HAVO.
En dan
Maar
nog-
ik dacht ook van gemakzucht. Ik weet als ik naar HAVO ga ik het makkelijk halen.
And basically, I dropped to HAVO, and then in my mind, I was like, if I've done A levels, then obviously HAVO should be a piece of cake.
Want school voor mij was eigenlijk gemakkelijk.
So like
Als ik er nu
school,
zo terug aan denk, middelbare school was gemakkelijk.
like secondary school was peanuts.
Alright, ik haal mijn HAVO-diploma, ik ga door naar HBO. Eerste jaar was ook gewoon fun. Ik vond school gewoon leuk.
Oh wow, die heb je ook. Yeah.
Dus
Okay, so
daarom
I
ben ik
actually
ook-
enjoyed education, and to me it was quite easy. It
Ik
went
kwam in
well.
een nieuwe omgeving,
Different environment.
ik kwam nieuwe dingen tegen. Ik vond het gewoon leuk.
I encountered new stuff, and I was enjoying it.
Want ik wist ook de richting waarop ik opging, commerciële economie, vond ik ook leuk.
And I knew what I wanted to do.
En ik wist ook wat ik daarna eruit kon halen in de toekomst.
And I knew what I would be able to take out of it in the future.
Nu zijn we 5 jaar later, zit ik er nog steeds erin.
Fast forward 5 years later.
Waarom? Omdat in de reis, in mijn schoolreis, ben ik door bepaalde obstakels gekomen.
In my school journey, I've encountered certain obstacles.
En heb ik ook voornamelijk de scriptietijd. Dat is echt een tijd, toch?
Die vond je ook leuk.
Nee, die vond ik zeker niet leuk.
And then I encountered the phase or the season of writing my thesis.
Waarom? Omdat je in de momenten van HBO kom je jezelf tegen.
There are moments in the HBO or in my education that I encountered myself.
Middelbare school noem ik steun. Je weet toch wanneer je begint met fietsen?
The secondary school is like more of a support.
When
For
you-
example, when you
started off biking, you always had those support when you were a child that you could not bike great, so you had some support that your parents put on the bike. Everybody knows it, right? Those 2 wheels, little wheels to support you. But at a certain moment, what will happen is that you will bike and they will try out to see if you can bike without those support. So what happens is that they leave it, but the first time you bike, you don't bike smoothly. So you don't bike a long distance or you don't go for a long while. But what happens is that you are trying and you are putting in the effort. En in die scriptietijd zag ik in van, ik was zelfstandig, maar ik had nog steeds bepaalde steken die ik misliet, waardoor ik het niet met succes of niet door de verre afstand kon gaan.
So in my thesis phase, I had to become independent, and then I realized that I couldn't go as smooth or as far as I used to.
Because what many have said here, self-discipline, self-control, also what I've heard, people around you, but also what is very key and crucial is time management. Many don't understand. Time management is easy when you have nothing to do. Because then you have time for everything. But when it comes to you having deadlines, you having somewhere to go, you working, you having an appointment, you wanting to do something for yourself, self-care, everything. When everything needs in life, everyone has 24 hours on one day. But it is how you fill those 24 hours that will make your next day, if you all understand. So what happened is that my 24 hours were, I tried to fit things in 24 hours, which were more hours, or I tried to do things that were not necessary at that moment. So what happened is that it made my next day even harder. And that is when it comes to laziness, procrastination. Whenever you need to do something one day, but you want to postpone it to another day, you will see that the another day has its own agenda and schedules. So what happened with my thesis is that at the long run, I just let it go. I was like, yo, Februari ga je me weer zien. Februari ga me december weer zien. I'm going to enjoy my, I think December to February, I'm just going to chill because I had too much going on. But now, fast forward to this year, what happened is that I did not pass my thesis, so I did not make it. But now I made it up in my mind that I need to fulfill. I'm too far in the journey to just quit. And what has helped me is really what others have said, like the environment you are in, but also understanding that I have someone inside of me that is greater than those that are in the world. And also, like the Bible, the Word of God, the Word of God has every solution in life. Like it can give you wisdom tidbits, wisdom nuggets. It can give you like stories of people like Daniel that they were distinguished amongst the peers, amongst their generation, amongst those that they were with. And what made me to understand is that even in my deepest pits, I still have an encourager inside of me, and that's the Holy Spirit. So when Deacon Ashon was talking about motivation, where I have one, or like the key source that I have of motivation is the Holy Spirit. Why? Because he motivates me to do things I do not see myself doing. It's like the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But you need to understand that why Christ can strengthen you is because he sees you doing greater things. That's why the Bible says that I have come, but I know that you are going to do greater works. So what made me like crucial is that during my my walk in Christ and my walk as a student, I knew that I can do more than I was doing. I knew that I can do more than I am right now in. And if I just let it go, I would actually belittle myself, belittle the people that trust in me, that look at me, but also belittle what God has placed in me. So that is why I'm still going to fulfill my course, and I know that I'm going to pass it. Why? Because I do not only trust God, but I also put in work. Many want to trust God and think God is going to do your work. But the Bible said that he has blessed your hands. So it means that he has given you the tools, he has given you the strength, he has given you the power, he has given you the ability to do things and to actually prosper and succeed in those things. So my greatest motivation, what all I've said is also my motivation, but actually understanding who God is and who he sees that I am. So yeah.
Amen. Thank you very much. I saw Dignus Amanda grabbing the mic. I see she's feeling cold. Yes, go ahead. Oh, but let me. Do you want to respond to the question that? Yeah, exactly. So that I just want to add a little bit more before you respond, because for those who do not know, let me expose you a little bit. She's not born in the Netherlands, but in a short amount of time, she has been able to follow courses, done a degree, and she is studying still at the moment. But to me, that already is a motivation by itself. Can we give it up for Dickness Amanda? But then my follow-up or additional question to the question that I already asked is, what are the challenges that you encountered? You know, coming from abroad, coming to the Netherlands and starting studying. So if you could take us a little bit in that journey and then get to the demotivation part.
So I've always wanted to be a hostess, but when I came to the Netherlands, I met a teacher who told me, because you were not born here, because you were an immigrant, you won't be able to be an air hostess. So because of that, I was really down, and I decided to change my course to be hotel management. And with that also, I'm about to say something, I don't know if it's being racist, but white people would never allow black people to be over them. So being a management is really hard in the Netherlands, because I am actually supposed to do my internship last month, but any hotel that I go to, they actually they don't hire me, because they'll be like, the course that you are doing, the management course that you are doing, is going to be hard for you. To a point that I went to a hotel and they told me, we don't like your hair color, because I was having my red hair. And they told me, we don't like your hair color, we don't like anything about you to be a management or a manager in this hotel. So all these kind of things really makes me feel like, should I go back to my country? Should I move to the England? Because then there maybe is different from the Netherlands, because they'll be like, we are not racist, we are not being discrimination, but in some way they are doing it. And it only takes God for me to be where I am right now, because right now I'm doing Niveau 4 as guest experience management in my second year. And so, yeah, all these are the challenges that I'm facing. And I hope by soon I'll get a place to do my internship, because it's not an easy job. All my teachers are really on my back. Like, Amanda, you really need to find a place to do the internship. But I'm the only black person in my class. They are all white people. So with them, it's easy. But with me, it's a totally different story. So yeah, everything that I'm doing and where I am right now is God. And also my friend Joel, he really motivates me to do a whole lot of things, because with all these kind of things, you might even decide to like be a school dropout. And I'm really working hard to move forward or to be at the top. And even 2 months ago, I actually met the burgemeester van Amsterdam doing a project, and next week we are going to Poland with that project. Yeah, I really thank God for where He is bringing me.
Yo, from Ghana to the Netherlands to the Poland to the... She be traveling, like even more than myself. I'm jealous.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, I thank God and I thank my friend and my friends.
God bless you. God. Oh, can we give it up again? Ushers, I see a hand up, and before that...
You wanted to say something?
Usher, there's an...
Okay. I wanted to go a little bit on the motivation, but now our Dickness question also, or at least the challenges also prompt me, so I'll try and combine both. The motivation, I think you already started sharing, that is your environment matters. So please be focused on the environment and pick people. I did my undergraduate. It's supposed to be a 4 years program. I did it in 3 years. My master's program, I did it shorter than I was supposed to do it. Why? Because one, I surrounded myself. When I'm doing education, I always surround myself with people who knows more than me. If I know more than you, what am I going to learn from you? True. So you will be pulling me down. I want somebody who will pull me up. So in my education, always people around me, they must be higher than me so that I can also get something from you. So the environment really, really matters. And one thing that demotivates most of us is, I think, what you probably will call the buy bunches. Once you start going into the money, you have that option of, should I really go into work now or full-time study? Yep. So some people, again, that's where the self-discipline comes in. If you are self-disciplined, you can say, okay, I'm going to school 2 days in a week, and 3 days in a week I'm going to work, and you have put the borderline in there and you can control yourself, no problem, do it. But some people cannot do it. You see, they'll call you and say, yeah, we have an extra day. Will you like to? And then by the time you realize, you started going to school 3 days and working 2 days, but you see gradually switching over. And then by the time you realize you are working 3, 4, 5 days, and school says, yeah, I'll do it later on, I'll do it later on, I'll do it later on. So, and now let's fast forward to the challenges that our sister mentioned, a couple of them. Listen, have this in your mind that in this world there are privileges. And one of the privileges that whether it is good or bad we have is because you were born outside of this country. So don't look at it as a negative, but look at it as a privilege. For me, it has been a privilege for me. Why has it been a privilege for me? Because it came to a time, the company I was working in, they were looking for somebody with an international environment. So when they were looking for someone with an international environment, I was born in Ghana, I lived in here, I've studied in the US and UK. So immediately, this is the person we are looking for. And then they put you in that position, and from then onwards. I was in the company for over 15 years before I became a manager. And before I went there, many, many people who were maybe colored or migrants have said, yeah, in this company, they'll never give you a chance. So halfway, many, many of them have left. I told myself, I'm going to break this barrier. I'll be the first black person who will be have a manager position, and then people around me will be easier to follow up. It was not easy, but it took determination, it took self-confidence, and it took what? Knowing what you have in yourself. That's right. Because you always, being a migrant, being a colored person coming from outside, you always have to work harder than the competitor that is next to you. Let's be frank and fair. Yep. If I am looking for somebody to work for me, and there is a brother or there is a sister I know who is equally the same level as somebody who is not a brother or sister, I will take the person who's closer to me. Simple wise, why do I want to say is, if I'm doing a recruitment and this sister is there, and sorry to say, use the word, be a bit careful, and a white person is there. If she's equally have the same level with a white person, I'll choose her. If the white person is above, even if the minimum is very little, I'll probably consider her. But if the gap is very big, it speaks for itself. So as migrants, we must make sure that in what we are competing in, what we are going in for, the gap must be big. I have colleagues who don't, maybe in the beginning, they don't even have a master's degree, but I was in the same field with them. But after I've gone there for a couple of times, then they tell you, oh, because of what you have done A, B, and C, we have known that you can do this. Then what? You get promotion or you get an increase coming from there. So we should never, never let that be what? An hindrance to us, where we are coming from. You cannot change that. If you are born in Africa, you cannot change that. If you are born, wherever you are born, you cannot change that. Turn it to be a strength. Wow. Turn your weakness to be what? Your strength. Have it in mind, it's a privilege. There are some companies that are looking for people who can what? Speak African language. There are some companies who are looking for people who have lived outside of Holland before. There are companies who are looking for people who maybe have integrated in international environment before. All these things are there. We are living in, especially in Southeast here, there is so much international environment that is going on in here. We are living in one of the greatest locations what? In this world that there is. So never, never, never let, yes, it is a challenge, but don't let it be what? An hindrance. Keep on pushing, keep on pushing, keep on pushing, and you will break through.
Wow. I love that. And as our district pastor was saying, immediately it made me realize that what actually turns power or pain into power is perspective. So sometimes it's not what you're looking at, but where are you looking at? At which position are you looking at that specific thing? Because indeed, hoe in het went of keert, that we have this thing called racism and discrimination. But I think for the longest, we should not allow society to make us a victim. But it should actually push us, like our pastor said, to do even the extra. And there are certain things that we can do that no one else can do. And we should also, like what he said, see the value that we actually have and not allow society to label you and think that that is what you are. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Unfortunately, also in the old days, now it's getting better and better, but some of us will still experience it that you come to a moment, you come to a place, your teacher, your mentor will probably tell you you cannot make it because of your background. First, when they tell you that, don't take it as an offense. It is not something wrong they are doing because they don't know your background. They have not. If you are in the same class with somebody who have lived in this country and studied, and maybe you are at the age of 22, and the same person, whether we like it or not, when it comes to what? The typical, you can even say the Dutch language, or you can even say what? The experiences in this country. That person, because he was born and raised here 22 years, and you have probably lived in here 4 or 5 years, that experience will be more there. So if it's a teacher, if it's a mentor that is going to make a judgment, looking at that experience, he'll probably say that person is easier to make it than you. So let not that be. I was told I will never be able to make it. they told my mother, please, it is advisable to take this son of you and let him go and do a carpentry job because it is better than letting him go to HBO. He's going to waste your money and time. I went there and I finished within 3 years. With the certificate, I went back to the Basel school, and the teacher who told me I cannot make it, I told him, yes, this is what you do. He says, wow, I never thought so, but this is your level. Now I think you have hit it. I said, now I'm even going to challenge myself. I'm going to do a master's degree, and I'll come and show you the degree as well. I did my master's degree, and I went back to the same school, and I showed him, look at this, I have this one. So let it challenge yourself. Don't you worry that your teacher or your mentor will tell you you cannot do it. You cannot do it. We have all heard it. He is not you. He doesn't define you. He's saying what he knows based on his experiences. Don't let that be what? A hindrance to you. There is more in you than he or she can see.
Thank you. Wow. Let it sink in, guys. So if someone says you cannot make it, it gives you all the more reason to prove them wrong, right? All right. I think she had her hand, and there's one hand upstairs. So if someone can take the mic upstairs, thank you.
Yes, my name is Lisa. I wanted to reply on what Amanda
Could you
said.
please stand so that...
Because I studied hospitality and events. I also wanted to work in hotels and everything. Me also, I was, even though that I'm mixed, I was the darkest in my class, and maybe that was also a struggle because white people don't see me as white and black people don't see me as black. So I was somewhere in between, and but indeed, when I went to hotels, I started as an intern, but then I just worked my way up, and at the end I was not a manager, but I was a supervisor, and. Also, the hotel that I used to work in, indeed, people were not allowed to have, but it was not only for the black people, it was for everyone. I had one white colleague, she painted her hair red, and she had to make it natural again. So I do think, not that I want to defend anyone who is racist, but I do think that maybe somewhere it's also like company policy, that the members have to be dull so that the guests will stand out. That's what I think, that maybe there is what happened. But then still, I also I also experienced a little bit what you had and had to prove myself. And in the end, I did better than the other people from my department. Also, even in the company that I work now, they didn't want to extend my contract because I was supposed to get een vast contract. So I went to another department, and other people who I know I was working better than they did get their contract in the other department. But now I'm working for the same company in a different department, and the old department is calling me to train new people. So I think just even though doesn't matter that you're black, just keep on going. Let's say in the end, I know how hard it is, but in the end, you will be there, and they will still look. They will find. They will see you do better.
Thank you. Testimony, y'all. I think some upstairs, and then I'll come to you. She needs to leave, so she's just going to give us something that is on her heart before she leaves. Last remarks? No, any last remarks?
Nee, ik wil wat meegeven. Ik heb heel veel gehoord over demotivatie. We zijn nu ook bezig met mentorships. En kijken waar kan je de beste mentorships vandaan krijgen. Ik hoor ook echt stageplekken. Dat is ook iets waar we ons mee bezig hadden. Dus ik ben een beetje gehaast vandaag, maar ik wil graag nog een keer terugkomen. En dan wel met de mensen die echt iets kunnen aanbieden, zodat zij niet in zo'n situatie hoeft te zitten. En ik ga ook even kijken vanuit mijn
Wow, see, we're taking in solutions. Thank you so much. Voordat je weggaat, hebben we een klein presentje. Nee, wel, het is vanuit ons. Of je het wilt of niet. Je mag het buiten weggooien.
Nee, zal ik nooit doen. Ja, ik heb haar nummer genomen, ze heeft me net gebeld. Dus ik ga het even bij... Nee, ik ben makkelijk te bereiken.
Oké, nou, we willen je bedanken. We want to thank you on behalf of the entire church and the youth. Thank you for honoring this invitation. God bless you. You're always welcome, Vanessa.
Nee, wacht. Ik wil jullie bedanken voor de tijd dat ik hier heb kunnen aanschuiven. Dus jullie bedankt trouwens. Ja, thanks.
Dus volgens mij zal zij jou een presentje geven en dan hopelijk zien we je de volgende keer. Ik laat je het nog weten. Ja, is goed. Ja, oké. Can we give it up for Vanessa? Yes, Sister Sally.
Yes, staat het aan? Yeah. Do I need to speak in English?
Yes, please.
Preferably, okay.
Because your English is exquisite.
Well, maybe, I don't know, the things I want to express, I don't know if I can do it in English, but I'll try.
Feel free.
First of all, I fully agree with what Pastor Waterberg has told us. I think we should never fall victim to, our background. However, because I'm sitting here right now, I'm working at the Dutch Institute of Human Rights, and we are actually specialized in discrimination cases. So I do want to have a word to my sister Amanda, because I think it's still a fact that we live in a rule of law here in the Netherlands, and it's very much prohibited to discriminate. Of course, I still want to emphasize it's never good to be in this victim role, but there are certain rules and laws in place that Dutch organizations and employers still have to take in account. So if you feel like you've been discriminated against because of your ethnical background or the color of your skin or even your hair, that is still very much illegal. So I would like to explain to everyone that thinks they undergo discrimination, that you can always come to the Dutch Institute of Human Rights, which is College voor de Rechten van de Mens in Nederlands, which we have a burden of proof that is the other way around than when you go to the court of law, meaning that you don't have to prove that you have been discriminated towards, but the organization has to prove that they didn't discriminate. So how much I agree with, we should not fall into this victim mindset. I think it's still important that companies abide by the law, and you are very much protected here in the Netherlands, so you can always come and file a complaint. Wow. So I just wanted to...
Thank you, lawyer. Wow, see? And thank you so much for touching on it, because I personally think that discrimination or racism is not a skin issue, it's a sin issue. But what I'm trying to do is, I don't know if the Welcome team already did that, but we're trying to have people's information about what they're doing and their numbers, so that we can actually have a huge map of a network, so that we can know who to go to. Because I believe within this church alone, people are doing stuff that we do not even know that they can actually help us further our education or can help us support in one way or another. So that is also one of the goals of this series, is that we will basically see what we are doing and see how we can help each other proceed or develop in that area. Yes? So thank you very much.
When talking of discrimination, let me also add something by my background onto it. Some of you know the story. Some of us, the lifestyle we live until we get to the time we are going to look for opportunities on the job market, we have messed things up. So we should be extremely careful. Let me use, again, this is some of you know this example, some of you do not know. Way back in my wild years, I gave my car to a friend, then my girlfriend, now my wife.
Woo! Come on.
She warned me not to do it, but I said, come on, women, you just talk, let me have fun. So I gave my car to a friend. He had an accident with the car, and I was sitting in the car as well. Immediately the accident came and the police came around. He said, I don't have a license. So what? You should have told me that before I gave you the car. So in the heat of the moment, I stood up and I said I was the one who was driving. Shouldn't have done it, but okay, I did. And then the incident, everything was on me, my name. My car was my own car. I've already sold that car to somebody. But I had to now refund the money and the car was also total loss. That is fair and gone. I didn't know that in Germany, when you have an accident and the police and everything comes on there, the cost of the police and everything is not part of the insurance. In Holland, it's part of your insurance. In Germany, I didn't know it was not part of the insurance. So after they have come and done everything, they gave me a bill, plus or minus, I think 800 and something. And I said, well, the car, I've lost the car. My name is already gone. So you, guy, the bill, you need to settle it. I gave the bill to the guy and I left. 3-4 years later, I was on a business trip with my manager in Frankfurt at the airport. They said, you were arrested. I said, for what? I said, for what? You come on.
Free Waterberg.
For what? This is a joke. And then they explained to me, you have had an accident, you have a bill of so much. You were supposed to pay, you didn't pay. Immediately I called the guy, and the guy bounced the call on me. No problem. So I had to stay there for half a day. The business trip that I was going, I couldn't go, so the team already left. The colleague or the manager who was with me, he grew up to become my supervisor for many years. For more than 5 or 6 times, any international job, any promotion that comes and I apply for it, he didn't physically tell me, but he used that against me. He said, no, I cannot give you that position because it's an international position. You need to travel. I don't know if you are traveling to go to a conference and they stop you at the airport. I will never know. So he used that against me for more than 6-7 years until I prayed, I did war or whatever. Until one time I had a different manager, and then I explained, and he asked me, have you learned from your mistake? I said, I've more than learned from that mistake. It will never happen again. Before, the opportunities were open for me to get my promotion. I sat there all the 6-7 years, and I said he was discriminating. He was a racist. But it was my fault. So sometimes we should be very, very careful of pulling. That's why I said, so yes, what our sister said, it is good to now and then check what is happening in there. But before we do that, we should examine ourselves. What have you done? We should look at ourselves. What have I done? So in this case, it was not the company doing discrimination, but according to the company, they would think they were protecting themselves. Because in case you would send you to go to an assignment and you go and something like this happens, it is not nice. So later on, in the long run, things got, I need to explain myself what has happened and everything is settled. And they said, now you are okay to go into that position again. So we should be careful of what we are doing now. Because I think Pastor said in there, the decisions you make now, they have consequences for your tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So be careful in everything that you are doing, especially if in the future in your career as well. These days, everything is being what? Tracked. Oh, I think I've said this many times, now many of you will know. Do you know if you apply for a job, we go into your profile, your social media profile, to look at the pitch, even common pictures and type of the messages that is in there before we even call you for an interview or not. I do recruitment. I have to do it. So once I get your CV in there, the first thing I take is I go on social media and I look in your profile. Somebody will say, yeah, that is discriminating. Yes, we do it. You can call it discriminating. Yes, we do it. So be careful what you put out there about yourself. Because you are selling, whether you like it or not, you are positioning yourself for somebody to give value to. Yeah? So the value we'll give will also depend on what we find about you on social media. If you are not very, like our Dickness there, very careful of what you post in there, don't do it at all. Because you need to have control of what you post in there. And if somebody also from who is not, put also a tag or something on you, how to remove all those things. Some of us, we don't even know. So anybody can just put anything on your profile. I had one colleague, a colleague which we rejected for an interview simply because of what somebody have put on his profile. He didn't put it on there. And he says it was not me, but it was on your profile. It was on your Facebook site. He says it was not me, but it was on there. And because of that, he was rejected for an interview.
Wow. Because of time, and I know that we have some parents in the house. I just want to, if possible, one of the parents, because one of the dilemmas we as young ones go through is many of us, we have the feeling that our parents are nagging. Go to school, finish your studies, blah, blah, blah. We kennen het wel. You never do your homework. This is your life. Oh. Life is how you make it. Study hard, though. You know, in Ghana, in Africa. But I just want to give, no, but I think it, see, the what we view as nagging comes from a place. There's like a legitimate or a sincere concern. And I just want to give one of the mothers the opportunity why, from their perspective, it is very important that we go into studies and we finish our education. Mama Waterberg or Mama Rita, and then I think someone of the platform, then we'll have our final remarks and then we'll close it. Anyone who has questions, please keep it for hopefully next week. Yeah? Can someone give one of the mothers at the back a mic? They didn't expect this, but I felt like, we need to hear this from our mothers. So the Juanitas, the Sarahs, the Dennises, the Edmonds. It might be a repetition, but.
Amen.
Amen.
Always I said to my children that I don't want my children to go through what I went through, because I don't even remember when my mother said, go to school or read your book. Pastor Waterberg said, education is a key. If I don't have it, that's why I don't want my children to go through what I'm going through. Because there is a certain thing that you yourself, you need to do. Because of lack of education, you cannot do it. I've been working with my working place, I think 16 years. New people has come, they have, pushed them forward. But because of, I don't have that kind of education. Always when my manager come to me, Mary, you can do it. I say, oh, later. Always, they have come to me, Mary, do this. I say later, because of I don't have it. So always, the children, always, I say, Juanita, read your book. Edmond, read your book. Joanna, read your book.
Edmond, Joanna.
Because the telephone will not bring any good thing to you.
The telephone. That is what I was waiting for.
They can stay on telephone the whole day. I don't know what are they doing there, but your book is your future. I told them your book is your future. So mothers, we will always talk. Me, I will talk. Sometimes Pastor Waterberg will say, "Oh, Afrikaanse moeder, altijd hun praten." Yeah. For me, it doesn't matter whether you give me name or not. I will always talk because I don't want to go. I don't want my children to go through what I went through. Mama Rita, you have something.
I actually said one. Thank you very much. But feel free. But before Mama Rita goes, please, even though it's funny, let's take it to heart. Because especially this phone thing, because the reason why I felt like, one of the parents should speak up is because it always comes or hits different when it's not your direct mother. But usually when it's your direct mom or dad, it feels like nagging. But we should also understand that, let's be very honest, the phone is not getting us anywhere. So when our parents are trying to, because from their perspective, they didn't have the opportunities that we had. So that's why I felt like, we need to echo this. Mama Rita, please, over to you.
Yeah, what I wanted to say that education is very good. I am nowadays, in back days in our country, for example, when I was young, I used to sell chewing and oranges and so many things. And that thing, you don't need any certificate, you don't need any knowledge because you go to the farm and you pull maybe the mango and you go to the market and you sell and you have your own money. Maybe you put your money in your home. Maybe you don't send your money at bank. But nowadays that we are in, everything goes about your education with your certificates and other things. It will be a time. There are certificates, even when you are going to do school marking, you need to have a certificate. But first, when we came to this country, when you are going for school marking, you don't need, all you need that your experience. Things are changing. So when you see that things are changing and you know what you could not make it, and you see your child or your daughter, she or he don't, you see what the future is going, you need to tell the child to go to school. That is the only option that you can able to. You can't bring her to the school, but you talk. Go to school, study. Because maybe you don't know whatever the child is studying, but as long as you see that he's holding his book, he's reading, he's go to school, you'll be happy. Because you know that future, there is something that is coming on for your child, and you'll be peace. That you have peace that at least if I couldn't make it, my child has made it. And you'll be always happy that you see that your child is a manager, your child is a doctor, your child is because they'll call mama doctor, you call the name after your child. And that is what we always want our children to go to school, because school is your life in this land.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the heart of a parent. Thank you very much. And I believe I'm speaking prophetically that every child here will make their parents proud. In Jesus' name. Last remarks. Last remarks. Quickly, because of time, please. Very short.
Gaf aan dat je bezig was, dus dat de kerk bezig is met het opstellen van een netwerk to see how people can help one another. En wat ik de afgelopen 3-4 jaar doe, maar is een beetje sporadisch, is aan en uit, is dat ik bijles geef. Ik geef
I'm a tutor, or I help people. I'm a homework teacher.
Give like extra courses, mathematics. Alle niveaus zijn welkom, onderbouw, bovenbouw. Ik heb het allemaal een beetje gezien.
Hij is slim, hè?
Wat ik heb gedaan. En het ding is, ik moest het doen vanwege mijn opleiding, zeg maar. Ik moest extra dingen doen daar. Toen heb ik gekozen om bijles te geven. At first, it was something that I had to do, and then I found my passion behind it. Because I could help people get through to the next phase, even when they had to leave it behind. Because it was that of a struggle that people are facing nowadays. Is een van de kernvakken, als je dat ziet, wiskunde. En als je ziet van, 9 uit de 10 zijn er niet goed in, en God heeft je gezegend met deze gift, why not use it to multiply and add up to people their lives.
Come on.
Dus als ik dit mag zeggen en geven, I'm here.
Wow. Oh, thank you. That's a good one.
One of the things I want to say, actually 2 things, is that many struggle in education. Why? Because they don't understand the school system of the Netherlands. If you don't understand the school system, you don't know how to walk in it. And you will not know how to actually maneuver through all the times or the seasons that you are in, or the phases. Why I'm saying this is because op het HBO heb je verschillende fases in je schooltraject. En wat je moet hebben is dat elk moment verwachten ze ook iets van jou. Ze verwachten voor ook input. Ze verwachten ook dat jij stappen onderneemt. And that is the same as, I believe many are also in their secondary school, middelbare school. En daar heb je ook zelfstandigheid nodig. Vaak wordt er heel vaak gezegd zelfstandigheid. Maar wat is dat? Hoe implementeer je dat? En dat is een middel die je eigenlijk verder brengt dan waar je nu bent. En op die zelfstandigheid, waar ik ook gewoon zeggen van, we hebben gezien tijdens al de panel talks, one step to be successful, or to make the next phase of your life, is to just voice out. Many miss that. Just voice out about what you are struggling with, what you're challenged with, what is your problem, what is your success story, because you don't know what ear is listening to your story. And that is why we miss very valuable keys to actually proceed in our lives, or to actually finalize our course, or to have a great business or entrepreneurship. It's just voicing out. And Pastor Waterberg tackled a little bit on it. He said we must sell ourselves. So first you need to define your worth. And afterwards you need to actually protect your worth, but also place out your worth so that the market, like your friends, your environment, but also the next manager that listens to you, or the next person that is standing to you. He will listen and he will actually heed. He will take heed onto what you are listening and bring you to where you need to be. So voicing out. Let us be a generation that will voice out and not be like, I'm shy, this is my character. No, I want to do this on myself. I know I can do it by myself. No, God hasn't placed so many people on this earth to do it by yourself. Yes?
Thank
So
you.
that's it.
That's a good closing.